to 3, but that dragon is out of mana. He can fly through the air though, and he might not need it. Luon starting to burn, starting to fall down.
Kill Kai'Sa, Kai'Sa dead, Kai'Sa dead.
I cancel
Go Leona, go Leona, go Leona. I'm flying.
No flash, no flash, no flash.
Yeah, that's what we do, guys.
Sorry.
Forward, go, forward.
Hey, yeah. Roll out.
Did it?
Can go mid.
Go mid?
Can go mid.
Another 2-0 weekend for SK Gaming, and they finish in first place in the Summer Split so far. Nisqy, that's the first time that's happened for SK since 2015.
Holy,
and
yeah.
Odo actually wanted to ask you...
What were you even doing when SK was getting first last time?
I don't know, actually.
You were just playing solo queue.
2015?
Yeah?
You're not in
I was-
SG, weren't?
No. That was like 10 years ago.
That's how
oh
math
my
works,
God.
you know?
Years ago. I was like maybe 15, 14. Yeah, so I was just playing solo
That's
queue.
impressive. You are the Kia player of the game as well.
Woohoo.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I have 3 now. Because everyone before the game was like, Nisqy, I don't see you on the leaderboard. I'm like, just wait this game. And
Yeah.
Corki ego between mid lane and top lane for the spotlight, the usual.
Absolutely. Congratulations. This was a very back and forth game to name a couple of things. We have a couple of replays that we want to run through. How was the story of the game from your perspective, you know, because it was very up and down, then Vitality got the Baron fight that they won, so what were kind of the keys to making sure?
I mean, we knew that bot would be hard from laning phase, so we lane swapped, and we had some kind of strategy that we saw in LCK, and we tried it this game. And I feel like they had the upper hand in the early game, but they did make like a lot of mistakes. And then I feel like once 15-minute hit, we started making lots of mistakes where we tried to go for fights we cannot, we overplay, we don't respect TPs maybe on bot, and I feel like then they were kind of winning every single fight, and they got items on Kalista, and we didn't have them on Kai'Sa. And then it was hard, but I feel like they played their Nash sequence pretty bad, I would say, like when I was on bot and pushing, and then when they got Nash, I got their top inhib. I mean, it was like one hit away. So I feel like it was just a back and forth game when I feel like they should be in control and kind of snowball.
Karsi was like 5-1
Yeah.
really quickly, right, Odo? It's pretty frustrating to watch from Vitality.
It was the typical Vitality game because every time they would make a mistake, they would come back. Next play would be a good one, and I'm okay, Vitality is back again. But then they make the same mistake, and then I'm okay, Vitality is back in the other way again.
Yeah.
So yeah, Karsi was on fire, as we can see on the stats. He made you guys sweat in the early game, but then the Vitality just gets caught. He got caught, I think, around the Herald area, and that was just your ticket back in the game.
And also the moment I think that Viego was bot, I guess.
Yeah,
and
like
you guys
here.
engage top.
Yeah, I mean, here we know that like they're trying to chase our Camille, and I believe we knew that Aurelion had no TP here. So we like insta-TP, then forced the fight, because they're like, trying to chase me top, but Kalista has no flash.
Yep.
And then after this, we know that we cannot really do Nash, because Aurelion has like the big ult. So we look for another catch, we get it, and then we force the Nash, and we get an engage, like a proper engage, and that's kind of where the game went back, I would say.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this point, I'm not sure why they're trying to make bot play when they don't have TP on Aurelion, for example. It's like, those small details make a lot of difference.
Yeah, we saw Vitality do a lot better this game. I think some of their setups improved upon a lot, but it's always been the tale with Vitality. They make these silly mistakes, as you said, TP, going bot. And it's okay to go bot with Aurelion Sol, but if you don't have TP, you really need to be respectful on the top side. But Karsi is trying to push his lead with Hylissang and everyone around, and they need to work on their timings. And now with next game, hopefully hopefully for someone, sadly for someone else, but they can still work on these timings. It's not the end of the road yet.
I mean, I feel like you just should have won a lot more games in the regular season. You don't want to be in this point, but you did have a couple of spicy tweets.
Yeah.
You did what you had to do for MDK. You know,
Yeah.
you had to win, so they still have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, the Spanish community, half of them loves me, half of them hates me.
Now more
But
should
I think
love
right now, 100% of them love me.
Yeah.
And I mean, Ibai, I hope he gives me some subs after my
Well, was
performance
it
today.
100 that you wanted?
I asked 100 or like 100, and then Skane, I believe, said 50, and I said 100, or else I will not carry. And then he said, okay, if you play good, so I hope I get 100.
Hey, and you're the key player of the game. Odoamne, run us through what the situation is now.
Well, it's looking still a bit spicy. Somehow we're getting teams with 2 wins to get into playoffs, which is unheard of. But if MDK win, then we're gonna be having a 3-way tie between Rogue, Vitality, and MDK.
Okay.
So we're gonna have 2 tiebreakers. If MDK loses this, then it's all in Team Heretics' hands later on in the
Team
4K.
Heretics is already in.
Are they in? Locked in?
Yes, I
Wow.
had that. Yes, they are.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Okay.
So now with the Rogue win, I think...
They lock in.
They
if
lock
Rogue
in,
wins.
yeah,
Rogue wins, they
exactly.
win. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
Larssen
and
was
then
telling me as
MDK
well.
and Vitality are out.
Yeah.
Yeah, sadly. So
That would be good.
it's
Because
Oh, the Spanish hate you guys.
I will explain myself. I think Vit and Mad are not good teams right now, but I think if you give them 2 or 3 weeks, they will become good for playoffs.
Uh-huh.
And that's why I kind of want them out.
Ah, because you don't
'Cause I
want to
wanna
play
win,
them.
yeah.
I see.
But didn't everyone say about Vitality at the beginning? Because they're going to be good, but now it's, they need a little
Yeah.
bit more time. It's the story of every team who's struggling in Summer Split. Come end of the split, everyone's like, oh, they need a bit more time.
yeah.
But you had a lot of time,
It's
let's be
true.
real.
And I want better teams in playoffs, Nisqy.
Like SK?
personally.
Yeah, like SK. I mean, to
Yeah.
be fair, I feel like right now the top 4, I think like the biggest difference is like the mid game playing against BDS, G2, and Fnatic, and then the mid game playing against all the 5 other teams. I feel like it's completely easy. Like it's so much easier
Yeah.
because like they don't show on waves, they don't make random plays, they don't get caught, and I think G2 and Fnatic are still the best at that. And yeah, I'm happy that there are teams that if you play a good mid game, then you get easy wins, kinda. And I think that's why we are not stomping, but like winning clean
You're
games,
first,
I would say, compared to the bottom teams. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great observation. So what you're saying is we're going to see some absolutely trash mid game.
Probably, yeah.
Maybe.
Or they're going to be extremely bloody, because if both make mistakes,
Yeah.
then it's going to be
But
entertaining.
MDK is often in positions that I think this is a pretty good position to be
Yeah.
in the game. This is a pretty good draft, but they can't close it.
Yeah, that's my read on MDK. They're always in good positions, but lately they've been not respecting the weak side. When they're grouped together, they're quite clutch. They always pull the trigger together, but more often than not, someone is on the side and everything goes down.
Taliyah first pick, which is probably a flex for Mad. Sejuani makes sense, also a flex for Rogue. Now there is Tristana and Corki up. Azir is banned, so that makes one answer like worse into like Tristana and Corki. Maybe Rogue wants to do Kai'Sa flex, yeah.
I
Like
think
right now, everyone's on the Kai'Sa hype train.
I hate it. I think it's
Yeah.
just.
I mean,
I see GX do it a lot, and they win with it. But at the same time, I'm not buying in on this
Yeah.
Kai'Sa hype flex. I think it takes a little bit too much time to ramp up.
I agree. I don't think it's like that great mid, and I feel like if it was played in like the BDS or Fnatic or G2 or like our games, I feel like mid Kai'Sa would kind of get like dove, or like you would do so much compared to bot Kai'Sa.
And we
That's
mid
really
just
good.
pushes and moves
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah,
So
basically.
it's just way too slow.
Little Corki for Larssen maybe here. Makes sense. You have AP bot.
It is the Larssen type of champion. I'm quite
really
happy with that with what MDK has here. Zeri, I feel like he's one of the more versatile champions right now in the game. Scales and is good at any point of the game. And when you have Rell Taliyah, the combo is set there to enhance your draft to the max. Now the question is, where will this Taliyah go? Will it go in the jungle or will it go in the mid lane? What would you prefer here for Mad Lion side?
I would say since bot is winning, I believe Zeri wins Kai'Sa, and Corki beats Taliyah on mid. I would say if they can get like a Lucian or like a cheesy pick on mid that beats Corki, and then just put Taliyah in the jungle that can also abuse Sejuani, if it's Sejuani jungle, I think that would be their best strategy. I know Lucian has been picked a decent amount into Corki from experience, so we'll see if he plays it, because I know Fresskowy is a big Lucian player, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it.
Normally, I would agree with you, but every time I look at these bottom tier teams, even when I was playing in these bottom tier teams, it really feels if you go Taliyah jungle here and then you pick Lucian mid, the game is just so
They have to smurf,
The game is extremely radioactive. Everything's on fire. There's fires that you need to pull out everywhere, and I just think this Taliyah should be probably going mid and bring a little bit more stability. I know that Elyoya is really good and has a deep champion pool with Zyra and whatnot, but I think, especially in these sorts of games between the bottom tier teams and everything being so high stakes, I think you need more slow games and more stability.
Yeah, I think here if Rogue picks another champ that has like mobility on 4, like I don't know what's up, like Nautilus maybe. I think like here, for example, Poppy would be pretty good for the left draft. Like I don't know, Poppy Zac or Poppy Cassante or something like that. I do like Poppy a lot. I know some people don't really like Poppy, but I love it. And they already have the Rell.
Love it, right?
Yeah, I think it is, but it's most of a question of do you outrange or
exactly.
Well, now you have the... Okay.
The thing is that here, the Poppy pick I think is good because one, they cannot really go in, or else Corki kind of gets zoned and whatnot. And I feel like playing Corki into like Rell, Poppy, Taliyah is very rough. And I think this Renekton pick is, in my opinion, pretty good because I think it's a good answer into Sej, if I'm not wrong.
I think
and it's a good blind pick. There is Gnar that's up.
Yeah, but now all the questions are, where does Taliyah go? Because if
Probably mid.
If I see Renekton Taliyah with a standard mid laner, AP, AD, whatever, I'm happy, but...
Yeah, I think it's probably Taliyah mid, unless they lock Lucian, I would assume.
I would think that is for the better.
Okay, Viego makes sense. I think Viego is really good into Nautilus, because usually Nautilus just dies.
For me, for win conditions, this really doesn't make sense. It goes against everything that I said earlier. It's the game is just, the game is very, very reactive.
Oh, we got the Kled Renekton.
Oh.
I'm not sure how that goes, but...
It's the Finn Classic!
Finn loves this into Renekton. I personally don't think that Kled is so good. You have some windows where you can punish the Renekton, but at the same time...
Do you like it, like the comfort pick in the most important game of the season?
I think that's what you kind of have to go for, because also I believe even if Rogue loses, they still have a tiebreaker, no?
Yeah, if MDK win, there's a 3-way tie for 8.
Yes.
Yeah, then I think it makes sense for them to try something.
That's true.
And
For
then
MDK, it's for all the marbles. You have to win.
MDK has to win.
Yeah, and Nisqy laid out the red carpet for you.
Yeah, they have to win.
Yeah.
I know. I saw Myrwn, I saw Supa, and they were like, "Thank you, thank you." I was like,
But
"You're
for
welcome."
me-
Now they're thanking it.
Yeah.
For me, for closing thoughts though on Rogue
Yeah.
Draft, I do like what they ended up with. Two big beefy boys, Kled semi-beefy, has decent engage, but it is a good recipe for success with 3 frontliners and 2 backliners. The pressure is on MDK right now to find creative ways to get ahead with this team comp because the burden of execution is on them right now.
Wow, exceptional draft from you.
I mean, I do like putting Elyoya on Viego because I think it's one of his champs that he doesn't pick much, and I think he's pretty good on it. So I think Mad will win this game. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
I don't, but...
Okay, well, let's see. I really enjoyed this draft from the both of you. Congratulations again. Nisqy, and let's head into it. Can MDK keep their hopes alive?
An incredibly good question. Of course, keeping their hopes alive does mean not only winning here, but winning a tiebreaker later in the day. Of course, it's a 3-way tie, which means that multiple matches will need to be played. 2 games will need to be played. Based on win time, of course, the most successful team, the fastest win time team, will be able to skip the first round, be the big final boss here. But ladies and gentlemen, I like what I'm seeing because what I'm seeing right now is Skinergy. That is a hell of a lot of pink. Yeah. Rogue, no Skinergy. Right now, MDK, it's a small win. But to me, it matters. That's a lot of pink. Of course, are you a master of a rift like Fresskowy, who quickly flashed there? Do you never miss a game? Because Santander is here to reward you. Head over to santandergaming.com to win weekly and monthly rewards like Hextech chests and skins. This week's code is Dragon20. And that was ill-timed from me because that's a terrible deal for the side of MDK. Good that Fresskowy flashed and didn't die, but his lane phase is about to be miserable.
Especially when this is your do-or-die game. Not the best starts that you would like as Fresskowy, but Zoelys still having that Hex Flash, he's going to be perfectly happy to try and play still down on this bottom side and see if he can punish that then from Markoon. Because one of the things that you'd like from Fresskowy is to try and push this wave, get the lane shoved in Devil's 3 against Larssen. But MD going to try and respond now. Finn in behind. No, just going to get a ward.
Yeah, Kled level 1. Little bear trap on the rope, decently strong. But Finn, he is very committed here. But Elyoya can just start to walk over. That said, good bit of early poke from Finn. Kled Q, insane base damage if you've never played against this champion. If you hit both halves of it, big chunks. And of course, if you don't know Finn, he's known for 2 things. 1, playing a lot of Aurelia in solo queue, and 2, randomly picking this champion in solo queue and on stage, although much less frequently these days, so it's nice to see him go back to comfort in a clutch game. But we'll need to see how this matchup has changed since the last time we saw him play it.
Yeah, I think at the moment, like, as you say, he's still going to get a lot of poke down with the Q, which is going to be nice. Really wants that level 2 to get access to the W, which is when you're going to get a ton of those empowered auto attacks, which is where you really start to hurt. But we got to see it a little while ago, still a lot in the LPL, when it was like a lot of, hey, we're going to go for a ton of this like healing, or, sorry, not healing, shielding, and this was back when Gore Drinker was still there. So you're basically just like, hey, I'm going to have essentially 4 health bars where you're going to have to try and get through thanks to Gore Drinker and all these shields, but not going to be as much this time around. But we'll have to see what exactly the build is going to be.
Of course, Kled, you know, all things considered, notoriously low picked champion, not a super popular champion, but does have an insanely good win rate against Renekton. I suspect part of that is because there's just a lot of Kled one tricks. You see that hook connect, which, you know, the more one tricks there are, the more inflated some of that data is going to be. But generally considered a pretty favorable matchup. Now a nice flick back onto Larssen, getting a ton of damage. Markoon also just wanders in to eat a bit of poke, trying to help Larssen usher in the way, but now Alvaro is here. Q flash back, getting the flash out from Larssen. Nice exchange there. Again, when we look back at the start of the game, in total summation, just in the extended play, it's essentially both support flashes burned and both mid flashes burned, but Larssen's going to be on a much longer cooldown, and already a potential repeat gank coming in. You can see it on the minimap as Finn and Myrwn just continue to trade.
Finn going to be very happy with that trade. We'll almost have Scarl back in a second, and Myrwn knows that he's going to be in a diveable range. With the wave pushing away from him, this is a terrible spot for Myrwn to be in. We'll have to go for the reset. Alvaro was hovering with Elyoya. They thought about potentially invading on towards Markoon, or maybe even looking back mid, but instead just hover to let Fresskowy shove that wave in. He's going to get a reset, should be able to teleport back in himself.
Zoelys not going to go for the hook here. So some important additional information. The second best option for MDK right now is to win. The first best option is to win in under 26:58 in terms of in-game time. I know that's confusing, but basically due to tiebreaker metrics, there is one team that will get to skip the first round, one team that gets to be the big boss. If MDK win fast enough, they get to be the big boss. If not, it's Vitality. So we'll keep track of that as we get later in the game. For now, Zoelys needs to keep track of that life bar because it is rapidly disappearing. Supa going in, hitting him with the Keck W. Keeping it going. Markoon now getting lower and lower. I don't think they're going to be able to finish this kill, but MDK playing with a lot of aggression on the bottom side. Will get the flash out as well.
Not the start that you want for Rogue. As I said, I mean, if Rogue could actually win this, they'd see themselves just locked into playoffs, but MDK getting the exact start that they'd like, getting that early gold on towards Supa. He's already got the cull as well, so he's going to be farming up an absolute storm in that bottom lane.
Yeah. Remember how quickly this shifts. Again, MDK, the road is always going to be long, but for Rogue, if they lose here, instantly down to having to play immediately no matter what 2 tiebreakers, right? They're at the bottom of that 3-team stack no matter what if they lose out. So far the path to victory remains simple though. Obviously a bit unfortunate that kill does go down. Only going to be about 400 in the favor of Supa. His flash on cooldown may be something that Rogue can look to exploit, but also Markoon flashless, Comp flashless. Like, just a lot of summoner spells have been burned in these last few exchanges.
Yeah, it's hilarious that Fresskowy and Zoelys are the 2 that actually have them back up, all said and done, but haven't been able to get too much action in towards the mid lane. You can see both teams trying to at least threaten there a little bit, as both Zoelys and Alvaro are walking up, but it is just more trying to use that time efficiently as their AD carries had respectively reset, as Markoon might actually catch Alvaro here. I don't know how aggressive you want to go. Alvaro, you do need to be a bit careful. You don't have your jungler in position.
MDK playing with a lot more confidence in this game than I think you would expect in an elimination game. Most teams much slower, much less keen to force plays or take risks.
Let's be real. Confidence hasn't been the problem for MDK.
Yes.
It's actually been the overconfidence that has really come back to
we've
bite
kind
them.
of hit both sides. We've had games where they've been sheepish and they've been trying to figure it out. We have games where they've been playing like psychos, and they just haven't ever been able to end up on the right side of the coin in the right circumstance. Maybe today will be different. Of course, early on, Finn was pulling ahead in the matchup. Now things have balanced out a little bit more on top side, but Elyoya starting up grubs. No response from the side of Rogue. Their bot lane catching that wave under tower means it's pretty hard for them to even go for Drake.
Yeah, I think at the moment MDK are just in a very good spot. You got Supa and Alvaro who are able to get a good push. Fresskowy's the same. And Finn, I mean, started off well in the trades here, and will have a little bit of a CS lead as he starts to pick up this big tower, or big wave underneath the tower, but hasn't exactly been like Rogue finding success in these early stages. But that has kind of been the story of Rogue, right? It has been struggles to get some of these wins on the board, and it's kind of been more like, hey, we get these late game plays that come back and help us.
Yeah, and I think really punishing mistakes has been one of the things that we've seen from bottom teams. It's like a lot of the proactiveness not coming through for a team like Rogue. Didn't show up for KC for most of the season as well. Been a lot more about punishing mistakes. Has been gets the ulti out, trading ulti for ulti there. We'll just retreat. Of course, for Finn, if in an extended trade where Myrwn doesn't have enough burst damage, he'll just get to remount. It's pretty easy. But when Myrwn's ulted up, full rage, Finn has to be very, very careful about over-trading. Pull back on the bear trap, though. Still good.
Yeah, and I mean, Myrwn will have the Q as well to try and heal up, but trying to get some damage down as it looks like Markoon moving up here. But good wards already set up for MDK, and Elyoya's been doing a good job of tracking Markoon, but here, all in.
Wolf committal, flashback from Myrwn, gonna get him away from the stun. Markoon now locked up for a moment. Finn, though, under no real threat. Wants to get the shotgun back just for a bit of extra courage here, and yeah, probably just gonna pick up these minions and we'll be able to remount shortly.
Important timing there. Just a flash from Myrwn right as Markoon got the ultimate sent flying, but it didn't end up connecting. But again, Finn, does he? No, it doesn't. I was gonna say tries to use the shotgun to stop the back, but actually doesn't. But still, just gonna start to shove out this wave. No TP on either top laner. Means it'd be a bit of a walk for Myrwn to get back there.
Yeah, it's gonna take a bit of time. Ooh, nice hook to interrupt the back. Gonna overcommit though. They don't have information on where Fresskowy is, so they don't want to pull the trigger on the 2v2 engage. So Finn gonna get first push out here. Doesn't look like he'll be able to crash the wave before Renekton gets there. Maybe 1 creep, 2, but not much more. And while the initial play, that first kill, did look like a bit of aggression, we've now slowed down pretty significantly, Rob.
Yeah, I do like the way that Fresskowy's trying to play at the moment, though, to cover aggression, but also maybe set up for his own aggressive play. Because we saw that as Viego went up towards that top side, Fresskowy's just doing this, which is he'll just disappear into Fog of War a little bit, lean one side or the other. So in this case, if Finn sticks around a bit too long, maybe you can look for a play with Weaver's Wall. On the bottom side, as if Zoelys and Comp try to use the fact that just hit level 6, like that really strong point for the Kai'Sa Nautilus. You just don't really have the value there because Fresskowy's always there to cover. So we'll have to keep our eyes on him just to see where he wants to move to, because it feels like he's kind of playing that second jungler in this game.
Yeah. And ultimately, again, Grubs went down a few minutes ago. They're going to be up in a minute and 30 seconds. A Drake has yet to fall. And MDK are now set up to finally take the bot side Drake with enough time, if they do this fast enough, to then reset, play for something on the top side. MDK instead really focus on trying to make a play happen here in bottom lane, but have not swept out that tri-brush, which really stops any aggressive play from coming through.
Wave that is starting to collect those. So they are just going to move over towards the dragon. I think this is the right call. I think MDK, like, trying to go for more than this would have been a bit of a bit foul play. But you're going to be happy out. I mean, slow play for MDK, and they're getting the leads.
They are. It starts with a kill for Supa on the bottom side. That's 400 of his 1.2k individual gold lead. The rest coming from those 2 plates, and almost a 20 CS advantage, 15 right now. Cole too, right? And that hasn't even popped yet, which is about almost 100 extra gold just from the additional 1 per minion. So right now, MDK content with the pace of the game. Of course, if they don't win fast enough, they will just immediately play Rogue again at the end of the day. But if you can win this first time, there's no reason to assume you can't do it a second. Markoon, though, setting up on the top side, does get the Scuttle Crab down, which could help for this objective in about 19 seconds. And with Finn pushing in top lane already, unless MDK want to commit more resources, it's likely they'll just trade 1-for-1 on the grub spawns.
You can already see Nautilus, though, for Zoelys moving up towards this top side. It looks like Rogue going to try and set up for a contest of these Void Grubs. You've already got the reset coming through from Supa, though, and he's going to be pretty sizable when he comes back off this. So I think you may be in a bit of a difficult situation for Rogue, unless they can find a pick before Supa gets there.
The good news for the side of Rogue is they do have the Nautilus, right? Obviously not the flashiest support champion in this day and age, kind of the vanilla ice cream of support picks, but the point-and-click ultimate is going to be nice insurance to have when the enemy team, all of their money, all of their lead really is just on that Zeri. MDK setting up around 3 Krugs. The charge now coming out. Alvaro might be the one in trouble, but a nice 3-man stun, an instant turn back on the engagement. They're going to start trying to find the resets. If Markoon goes down, the Sejuani already down. The reset can now come through for Elyoya. He can pick up the body. He can keep it going. He dodges the hook as well. In the meantime, MDK, in the blink of an eye, just delete Rogue in the fight.
Retreat! That was not how Finn would have liked to start that one off. Alvaro, great turn. The immediate stun, crash down, lock up, and MDK are there to help. 3-0 for the Spanish reps.
For Rogue, that has to hurt. That's the play that they started, the play that they kicked off. Myrwn already down to the bottom side of the map. Finn's not really even going to be able to get a plate back. Already lost his ult as well, of course, traded for the Dominus. And now it's going to be 6 Grubs. MDK are smashing Rogue right now. And yes, it was only 1 kill before that fight, but now a 6 Grub buff. Pressure in the lanes, gold leads in a lot of these in these individual matchups, especially bot. It's going to be tough for Rogue. You can see the engage here, though, one more time.
Yeah, you just don't have the vision to see who's coming through. Great TP, and as you said, Alvaro, immediate turn and burn everything onto Rogue. Myrwn straight in towards the back line. Finn can't really provide front line because he's already been dismounted. And Zoelys is next to follow. I mean, Comp couldn't even get in. And look at Alvaro. He knows he's very happy with that one.
I mean, the thing is the Kled is unstoppable, but everyone else is stoppable. So when you group up like that, he hits a 3-man Q stun. He's laughing to the bank. That's 3 quick assists. He's closer to the Warmogs now. 1.5 items for Supa. Kraken coming through for Elyoya as well. And the only fully completed item on the side of Rogue is Comp with the static. As Supa already trading in mid. Has to be careful, has to respect the Corki damage. Alvaro potentially overcommitting on the top side. Nice size up the hook, though.
I was going to say Zoelys nearly sent himself right into Alvaro if he hooked that wall there. But Rogue desperately trying to defend on this top side. Supa now starting to roam up as well. MDK seizing control of this top side jungle.
And you heard it from Nisqy on the desk, right? The potential for MDK and Vitality both as teams that, if Rogue lose here, are going to be in this fist fight, these set of tiebreakers to grow. It seems to be the one thing that's universally agreed upon, right? It sounds like a bit of cope as the flickback does come through, getting the cleanse out of Comp. But these are teams that MDK went to finals. Vitality has looked like a top 4 team in previous splits. And MDK, I think, showing up when it counts, showing up in this matchup. Obviously, this is not the end. They need to win here. They need to win fast. Even if they don't need to win fast, they need to beat Rogue again.
But I think you still see... Ooh, actually, no, Alvaro not going to get it. Inklings of what was successful for them, right? From winter and spring, it was try and play around bot side, look to get Supa ahead. And in this game again, we saw that early aggression down onto the bottom side to set up Supa for success now, sitting with a 1.7k gold lead. It's more the mid-game that has been their fault, where they don't respect teleports, they don't respect numbers, and they don't respect their opponents, essentially, to be able to fight back, and it's come back to bite them so consistently. So this is going to be the real test for MDK, because we've seen them in these positions before. But now, with their tournament lives on the line, they have to find that consistency here.
Finn just tries to hit him with Rabbit's Hydra proc for a bit of free poke, excuse me.
I mean, it's a proc. So proc.
It's proc.
Yeah.
Proc. No, that's
Proc
too hard.
poke.
No, yeah, I'm
Proc.
with you. I'm with you. I understand the logic. I just don't want to say it again. It's hard to say. There's too many P's. This matchup, I'm going to be honest, as someone who has not played into a lot of Kled, other than like Azael played Kled in every role for a year, that was the only time I saw Kled. And when Finn plays it. So until someone dies, I'm not sure who's winning the trade. But I do know once he's dismounted, it's just like you have a small window to murder his face.
Yeah. But the problem is, as a Renekton, you probably used a lot of your murder
Cooldowns
buttons
to dismount
him, right? Yeah. So it does kind of come a little bit tough.
It's kind of rude. Like, you're just beating up on the Lizard and then letting the Yordle get away with it over and over again. As Markoon taking a lot of poke here. Good damage onto Alvaro. That ulti completely whiffing. And the excellent play previously counterbalanced by a bit of a fumble there, a bit of a whiff.
This is what we're talking about, you know, MDK, these little mistakes when they have the leads, coming back to bite them. Now it's Rogue who have position on towards Rift Herald. It's Rogue who Larssen pushing in that top side, and MDK 4v5, they're stepping in here.
Yeah, Supa's still incredibly strong. As long as they can lock up Supa, but the ulti already going down. It hits Elyoya, however. But immediately, press the charge, pull the trigger. Herald going to drop. Quick kill picked up for Rogue. Still at a 1k gold deficit, but the Herald will start to balance that out.
But again, it's just not respecting the opponents. MDK, you know, Alvaro goes forward but doesn't have the help of his team. Gets burst out. Myrwn steps forward with the rest of MDK, but it's a 4 versus 5, and they're happy to punish. Like Alvaro, he doesn't really have anyone here. Fresskowy and the Viego are in the pit, so Elyoya can't really get through, and Alvaro just gets locked up, shut down. And MDK are then forced to back away because Finn's roamed up from bottom side, and again, they try to come in 4 versus 5, but they're just completely split. I mean, Fresskowy's still on that top wave. You're 3 versus 5 in that scenario.
And you really don't have the beefiest front line, right? Elyoya went Kraken. Myrwn's not there. Alvaro is dead. So have to be more respectful, have to be more careful. MDK setting up for the second Drake of the game. Rogue seem ready to fight this one. In the meantime, Fresskowy, top side of the map, is now coming bot lane, has TP'd when the objective is already down. Perhaps a bit over-eager there.
I think it's just jitters. Worried that Rogue were about to pull the trigger. He wanted to be there for the fight, Weaver's wall in and see if he could help, but now MDK going to try and turn it into a dive on bottom side. It's spotted out by Rogue. We're bringing Zoelys and Markoon down here.
Remember, for Rogue, play this one game, you're in. That's it. Your day done. You have time. You have a week to reset. We come back after the Dark Week, continue forward. If not, you got to play 2 more guaranteed tiebreakers back-to-back at the end of the day. We do not want to drop down here as Finn just continues to be a nuisance. Obviously has the lifesteal to just heal back up off this wave. It's so much per auto already. It's so miserable in the 1v1 to play against this item.
Well, there's a lot of members of Rogue coming down here. I think Alvaro wasn't quite spotted. Markoon when I see.
TP in from the side of Rogue. Myrwn locked up. They're trying to immediately delete the Renekton, and they're successful. Rogue got what they came for. Now they can just focus down the tower. Finn demounts, but it's the perfect way to drop tower aggro. Rogue, clean pick, and Fresskowy still a mile away from that tower on the top side. No TP because of the play earlier. Means he can't even respond.
Yeah, the jitters coming back to bite them. Fresskowy wasn't able to match. Now the TP in behind Fresskowy as well. Finn wants to get more.
Wants to jump forward to cancel him. Unstoppable has locked him up. Minefield laid down, dashes in, push back, bear trap on a rope. Can just continue to chase forward. Fresskowy burning a lot there, but will walk away. Keeps his flash as well.
Yeah, so we'll be able to keep the top lane tower. So no trade coming through for MDK. Finn able to save that one. You're still seeing Markoon sitting around. So MDK, again, just trying to get vision down, see if they can look for picks to try and claw tempo back. But what was their very much gold lead in favor of MDK is now slipping over towards Rogue.
And yeah, and again, it's important to highlight where that gold lead is located because Supa is still ahead of comp overall, but it is Larssen, 1.7k, Finn, 1k ahead. The solo laners for Rogue. Stuff of nightmares as we come into these fights, right? Corki on 2 items with a lead like this deletes just about anybody on this MDK lineup short of Myrwn. Need to play with that respect. Supa needs more time. 2 items is good, but 3, really where he needs to be.
Right now, MDK are on board watch, though. They need to try and spot out exactly where Markoon is going to be, because wherever he goes, the Rift Herald sure to follow. So you can already see Finn having pushed out top, trying to group around this mid lane, see if he can get vision control in River. It's going to be the Rift Herald down in mid lane, probably for Dragon in 2 minutes' time, just to try and set up to take that last outer turret and just force MDK back further and further. And the vision denial is going to be crucial because we've already seen when MDK get caught out, you're able to collapse so quickly thanks to Zoelys' ultimate, Finn's ultimate, the chase down potential is just so high on this team.
Yeah, if you're the one to really get the good engage, it feels so easy to just blow through the enemy team. The side of MDK, not quite as much raw burst damage outside of Fresskowy though. Elyoya obviously has a good upfront damage combo, as does the Renekton, but you look at the opposite side compared to the Corki, the amount of damage that Larssen alone can dish out to isolated targets is just so high.
At least the saving grace here for MDK is that your teleports are going to be up in time for Dragon, so you can see Fresskowy going to collect top wave. His teleport's going to be up very soon, whereas for Rogue, not having that luxury because Finn TP to save top lane means they're going to use this window to group on mid and try and dissuade MDK. Good
All
Weaver's Wall to keep
through.
Rift Herald off.
But they're just going to go somewhere else. They're just taking their time. He just drifts it. He's ready for this eventuality.
He
misses completely!
Oh, God!
No! The ulti goes down. He's now on the backside of the fight. He's laughing in the chat, and Myrwn gives his life. That was bad. That was everything about that was bad. Look, we're all going to take a breath, and we're just going to reset.
Look, he's just used to riding boars. Cars way too mechanical for him. It's like it's futuristic.
Technically, they killed Myrwn, so it's kind of like they got their gold value out, but the start of this looks like, wow, he's so good at Rift Herald. He's so great at Rift Herald. Wow, what a genius play. Wait, he's terrible. He's awful. Why is he so bad?
I did get flashbacks to FPX's play in the LPL, which was sick, and it was like, oh, they did the whole edit with like Tokyo Drift music, and then, I have never seen a face that says, that's a yikes for me, dog, more than that.
Definitely a yikes. Okay, well, Markoon, it looks like he's going to be able to laugh that one off again. Because they got the kill on Myrwn, it doesn't feel that bad. If they did not get that kill, that would have, well, that would have haunted him.
That mid tower still stands because of the mistake, and would have been crucial for getting that down now with Dragon in 2 minutes, because MDK, they have position on us. Push coming through on the bottom side from Myrwn. We'll try and TP in behind.
Ulti. Trigger pulled on the fight. Fresskowy waiting over the wall, I think, hoping to lay the rocks down or find the angle. All of Rogue hesitant to go in. Alvaro going to try to get the fight off. Myrwn now going to look to fall. Supa immediately going to ult Finn, trying to isolate that AD carry, but he's already been dismounted and he's about to die. Supa finds the kill in an instant. So far, just the 1-for-1 trade. Dragon getting lower, MDK, they just want to turn back. Supa harassing once the ulti fades off. Will be a little bit weaker. Rogue, is that their time to re-engage? Poke coming through, Myrwn stepping up, nice wall to get the rest of Rogue away. Flick back, not going to connect. Dragon going to drop though, about to reset, but MDK got their prize. They're split though as they retreat. Rogue Do they want to keep going forward? The flash forward on the Fresskowy, it does not connect. Markoon again whiffing. 2 plays back to back, a little bit rough here. We'll be able to retreat, but MDK, again, they get the objective. Ultimately, all that matters.
So at least didn't have his ultimate up. It's now available. Comp trying to get the poke down.
Rogue. Frustration, I feel like you can see it. They're so desperate to get something back out of that play.
Yeah, I think the fact that you didn't have Zoelys' ult up was kind of the big game changer. It meant that you couldn't just focus down Supa or find a prime target and take them down. And with Markoon not really in a position to try and follow up, became a bit of a disaster. So MDK punish well on the plane. Great wall from Fresskowy as well to try and just keep the distance from Rogue at the end of that play.
Yeah, and you know, just a frustrating sequence overall for Rogue. Have to keep their composure as we go later, right? Still have the gold lead in the context of this game, but the next Dragon fight's going to be that much more important. And MDK continue to look for the aggressive angle.
Rogue had Finn on that top side, so we're trying to see if maybe they could force a TP from Myrwn if they wanted to go for the over-aggression play. Even if they get the kills, can turn immediately over towards the Baron. So MDK quickly disperse, and it looks like Finn is just going to move back down towards that bottom side. So definitely a case of, look, both teams struggling to set themselves up correctly for these objectives and being punished rightfully when the opportunity is given.
Definitely. I think the player that we're going to have to keep our eyes on as these fights continue is Larssen, right? There's so many champions who are going to walk into him in these fights. Normally Corki compared to other ADs really gets outscaled because it's so hard for him to get in range. It's usually why we see rapid fire third, but now they're running in, they're getting their resistance shredded. He is shredded, excuse me. He's 2.1k gold ahead. He should be able to kill anybody on this team, but it's only going to get harder if MDK keep getting these objectives.
And it's Alvaro who's making that difficult. Twice now we've been in fights where his engages have been the big differentiation in those fights. He got that engage on towards Larssen, forced the flash out from the early stages, and it's just made it so difficult for Rogue to really find success in the fights.
I mean, he's the only person on this team with 100% kill participation. Where Alvaro goes, the play is going to happen. Right now, he's set up in the mid lane. Larssen and Markoon retreating on the top side, laid down a little bit of vision, have an angle to approach. If MDK get over eager, again, the time break point, 26:58. Alvaro locked up, though. The engage coming in for Rogue, looking to lock him down. He's not going to push a single button. The follow-up there from Zoelys, a great ultimate, but Supa already retreating. Gets out just barely. Cost him his flash, cost him his barrier. But he does escape.
Split calls on Rogue, though. They will push out mid, and it looks like now they want to try and turn over towards the Baron. You still have the TP on Finn to get here. Will be a 4 versus 5. Elyoya
has the ulti
has to try and get in here.
Semi-global, but he's not going to use it instead. Trying to group with the team. TP from Myrwn, objective getting lower and lower. Elyoya goes into the fog. Finn cannot see him. Instead, Finn getting pulled over the wall into Supa. A bit of the spectator bug there. The Baron gets a bit of health back. Elyoya still hovering around. But this should just go in favor of Rogue. Instead, MDK going to try to settle for the consolation prize, but Rogue grabbing the Baron. Excellent pick onto Alvaro, paying off, allowing them to get access to that objective.
Yeah, and unfortunate it was Supa who ended up tanking Finn's ultimate there. So the way the Kled ult works is it will latch onto someone, and until you actually buff them, he will just continue to follow them wherever they may go. So Supa, even though he went over the wall, Finn was just going to keep following through, although Finn didn't really want to be there. It means that then MDK have to back away, and Rogue now, with Baron, are going to continue to push down.
And this is where it gets so much easier for the side of Rogue, right? Finn can walk up, can harass, lay down a bit of damage. Comp is here as well. 3 items for this Kai'Sa, who's been so far behind most of the game, now dead even with Supa in terms of itemization. And Larssen, unsurprisingly, holding on to the massive gold lead he built for himself. Looks like a Mortal Shield Bow might be what comes out next. Just wants to be that little bit more tanky against so many of these dive threats.
And for MDK, they were hoping to win this in the next 20 seconds, but it looks like now they're just struggling to see if they can win this game altogether. So if MDK do turn it around, it will be Vitality. They only have to play 1 tiebreaker. But for MDK, as the clock ticks down, they need to find some way to turn this game around.
MDK setting up for the counterplay on the top side of the map. Rogue haven't been able to do too much with this Baron quite yet. 1 minute and 40 left on it. 30 seconds till Mountain Soul, however. MDK committing a lot of resources on the top side. Rogue, smartly though, keeping their vision bot lane. They do not want to give up Mountain Soul. Myrwn now locked up and is just going to get burned down here. Double dash out, but will fall. Again, Larssen's damage too powerful. Top lane are going to be dead for when that dragon spawns. Rogue most likely going to deny the soul for MDK, short of some miraculous Elyoya steal.
I mean, he's on top side. I think he's just like, look lads, 1 mounted dragon going across isn't the end of the world. Let's see if we can get some sort of control over the map, it's actually going to be the Viego who's moving topside to try and push out those waves, draw members of Rogue back onto their side of the map, but it's an easy pickup with the Dragon for Rogue.
And the good news is they deny Soul from MDK. They continue to hold on to their gold lead at this point in the game, about 2.5k. But overall, in terms of what you could get from a Baron, not the flashiest Baron power play. Their overall gold less than what they get from the Baron itself. Weren't able to knock down more towers. They do have 41 seconds left. Can play around these waves on the bottom side. Look to knock down that tier 2. That would make things feel a lot better for them. Cement their advantage even further as Elyoya. Let's be careful about stepping too far forward here.
Finn isn't in the areas, but 5 members of MDK are. So Rogue gonna have to be careful ahead they play that one. Wait until Finn has actually got that wave in a position and someone on MDK is drawn across the mid lane. Trying to just use the last dregs, the Baron buff for the moment to get the kind of minion damage, but can't step too far forward.
Again, trying to put 2 points of pressure on the map, but the wave's just not timed very well. Elyoya stepping up, looking to lock up Zoelys. Shattering Strike not going to connect. MDK won't find the play. Can just turn their sights back to mid lane. So ultimately, about 1,200 gold for Rogue. From the Baron power play, 300 less than they get from the Baron itself, and MDK hold the line decently well. Rogue, though, buy themselves a bit more time where MDK are not empowered by that Mountain Soul.
Yeah, again, it's just going to be MDK who are out on the map first, getting to the waves first, and keeping the pressure up. I mean, even now, right, they're going to get this boss tier 1 just off the resets of Rogue, whereas Rogue didn't really get any towers or real position on the map off that Baron buff. So MDK going to be very happy with the way that one turned out. Larssen on the top side as well. It looks like MDK just sitting to see if anyone pokes their head in on Rogue onto the bottom side, but not going to be the case.
And the gold's still close, right? Carries still close. Fresskowy behind by a pretty decent margin over Larssen. As I just struggle with words today, Rob. It's a hard day for words.
Yeah. I mean, the heat gets you.
It's true. Brain no good in the heat. 3.5 items, though, versus the 2.5. We play a little game of counting between Fresskowy and Larssen. Taliyah not going to hurt a whole lot, but still the utility of the minefield in these fights, the wall, can be quite beneficial.
I think it's just going to be a case of waiting until these objectives spawn.
Yeah, again, we're past the threshold. At this point, if MDK win, Vitality are the final boss. Our first tiebreaker would be MDK versus Rogue. Our second, the winner of that team versus Vitality. So, that still requires Rogue to lose. However, Rogue, their fate is very much in their hands.
Yeah.
Multiple times today, but hopefully for their sake, only one time, this one time.
They just need to catch it, just once. That's all. Zoelys doesn't want to get caught just once, one time. As Rogue start to move over to try and cover him. There's only 2 members of MDK here.
Minute and a half on the objective. We'll just retreat here. If they'd found Larssen, they might have immediately gone for it. Again, just deleting that Corki makes this next fight so easy. Otherwise, it's quite tricky. Wall coming in, though. They found the angle. Comp waiting over the wall, but he can't join the fight. It looks like the support taken out. Double TP's now coming in. Elyoya can look for the reset. Pick up the Nautilus body. Look to follow up. Rogue getting pushed back. Flash in. They managed to hook Finn. That's going to be clutch. Finn going to get taken out. He dismounts, but there's just nowhere for him to go. Double kill for MDK. Rogue knew they were on the top side, but they took the risk anyway.
Finn was pushing in on bot side, so instead of just letting the waves push and potentially trade tier 2 for tier 2, they end up trying to force their way into the jungle and get punished. Massive blunder from Rogue.
And Comp now running down to bottom lane, 36 seconds. The Baron spawns. Tower will drop. He gets 700 more gold in his pocket. That's going to feel pretty good, but bit of a disaster there. They've lost all control over the pit. The good news, you know, the vision line not really that deep from MDK. We'll see if they can get mid-prio and get more control over the Baron. For now, it is just the kills.
Yeah, try to step up too far. And I mean, with Baron not even in the area, there was no real pressure to get that vision that deep. You could have just held the line as to where you're running away to now, but Finn ends up getting caught after a great hook from Elyoya as well, and great read from MDK, immediately pulling the trigger on that one to set up the play. And now, with Baron spawned, Finn no TP, will just be coming out of the base now.
MDK clearing that control ward out of the pit. You see the damage Delta champions this game. It's so much more right now coming out of Supa. Unsurprising, as he did have that early gold lead. Larssen continues to be that big threat. MDK grouping mid. Wall coming in behind. Flash over the wall from Comp, though, to kick things off. Again, they really just get that cooldown essentially for free. Losing Taliyah wall does not feel bad, but Comp flashless in the next fight will be big.
Especially if Alvaro can get on top of him. Flash for the Rell. one combo could be the death of Comp, but they turn on Alvaro.
Comes in, Alvaro immediately gonna get burned down. Now the rest of MDK has to try and recover. Markoon finds a bit of redemption there as he finds the angle, takes the support out of the equation, stun on Myrwn. Larssen immediately gonna try to follow up the ulti going down, but Supa still standing, but no, the meat grinder Rogue. The entire front line immediately on top of him. MDK fumble, get caught out, so much confidence, and they're punished for it.
The ult from Markoon was huge. Rogue immediately take out Alvaro, and with no wall, there's no real way for MDK to actually engage, so Rogue get to chase them down. They will deny that soul once again, and are actually chasing Viego the entire way up onto that top side of the map, as they may just turn over towards the barn as well.
I mean, if they want to be aggressive here, Elyoya's in the area. It is a bit risky, but Elyoya doesn't want to flip it. The rest of Rogue now stepping up to cover just to make sure. If Comp gets involved, they'll shred this, but Larssen does so much damage he might not even need to. Rogue gonna grab their second Baron of the game, further extend their gold lead. And this might be the end for two of our teams, Rob. This might just decide 9th and 10th right here. As you can see, Markoon, 2 fumbles in the previous fights. This time starts it off with a good pick.
Yeah, great pick. And Rogue immediately starts chasing down. The problem is Myrwn so low, can't really do anything. The ult ends up going towards him, but it's Supa that Rogue immediately turned their attention towards and able to pick him off as well. And you can see there's not much that he could really do in that situation. So now Rogue setting up once more. Can they make this Baron buff stick a little bit more than the last one? Because already you can see 1.2k gold on the Red Bull Baron power play. They need to extend that way more if they're hoping to close this one out cleanly.
And buying more time to scale. Stack up. Markoon tries to disengage. Wall laid down. They know Comp has no summoner spells. They're going to try to delete him out of the fight before it even kicks off. Comp ulting out to safety. Larssen now trying to protect. Alvaro going to be knocked up, but that means Supa is free to do whatever he damn well pleases. Zoelys finding the kill. Support versus support overall. Now one taken down. The reset. Nautilus body coming through, but there's no objective on the map. They're just slowing the Baron down from Rogue.
Yeah, 1 for 1 is, you're pretty happy with that for MDK, because as you say, you want to just stop that Baron play, but Rogue a bit all over the place in that one. It looked like after the wall had come through, they might have been able to turn it. Use the fact that Larssen is already sitting on those 4 items. You got a lot of damage coming through with the poke from Comp, but MDK able to force them back.
A good recognition of the window of opportunity there. That Comp was, of course, without a summoner spell, used it previously. So jumped on, tried to punish. Of course, in the end, they just kill Zoelys, just the 1 for 1. But slowing down the Baron. We're in a situation again where Rogue, 2 Barons now, just have not really been able to use it in the way that they would prefer. The first one feels a little bit better because you do stop Soul from coming through. This one so far just has had no effect.
They try and get another Baron buff gone here. Finn overextending the side lane.
All of Rogue now looking to clash. Finn trying to flash to safety, but Alvaro is here. Interrupt from Markoon is big. Finn locked up for an extra moment. He's about to demount. He should just drop all of Rogue. You can see immediately the call is back away. There's no opportunity here.
This Baron buff has honestly been a bit of a detriment to Rogue in the grand scheme of things twice now. It has not worked out in their favor. Elyoya trying to chase down.
As the reset, TP coming in. MDK getting pretty eager here just to force something. But again, even if they just keep Rogue in the mid lane, they're delaying this Baron buff. They're delaying effective waves here. And this is scrappy, Rob. Like you could if you could not tell already this is an elimination game, it feels like one. Both teams just throwing haymakers left and right. The defense, the guarding, questionable. But the punches are coming out. Comp going in onto Supa. Ulti traded for E. Ooh, but crucially gets the shield bow.
I was going to say even one more auto I think would have been enough thanks to passive damage, but Elyoya gets tagged with the W, so they're going to be able to push him out. Rogue should have been able to jump onto that wave and get that mid lane turret, but again, I mean, look, Larssen pushing in on that top side. Finn only just coming back out into the map now. Feels like Rogue a little bit uncertain about how they want to approach the map, and that desync is giving windows for MDK to punish.
Rogue do have an angle here on top side. Larssen, decent chunk of damage coming in from Myrwn. Myrwn going for Overlord's Bloodmail, not an item that we've really seen much in pro play at all.
Yeah, definitely going to help out with the very health-heavy build that he's gone for, thanks to Black Cleaver and the Hysterics as well. But not something that you see traditionally, especially since we've seen a lot more of the Eclipse build coming through. But definitely knowing that he needs to be that front line, try and tank up some of the damage and the CC that's coming through from Rogue. But at the moment, Rogue going to look for the reset. That 3rd attempt at Mountain Soul for MDK about to come through in 50 seconds, and with them already back into the map, looking to get vision deep in towards Rogue's bottom side. Can they find that pick? Zoelys standing waiting in the wings, trying to see if they can spot MDK moving in.
It just feels like both sides are fishing for that one engage that gives them a greater advantage. But as you highlighted, 30 seconds to the objective. Rogue need to find a fight. If they lose out here, this Mountain Soul is tough to deal with. There's no pen on the side of Rogue, but luckily, just in time, comp flash back up and available. Zhonya's completed as well. This Kai'Sa can take over the fight. Similar story on the opposite side, and this time around, Zoelys, the one caught out and deleted. Comp nowhere to be found. He doesn't hit the pricing for the CC now coming in, but it's Supa on the back line. Supa in the clutch, the flick back coming through. Finn demounted, another kill to come in. MDK on the hunt, the wall coming down, looking to tear Rogue out of playoffs. Bring them back for a tiebreaker.
The Kai'Sa could have been crucial, but the Kai'Sa wasn't there. Zoelys goes too early, and MDK, Mountain Soul, now taken. The fight now taken, and the potential victory taken from the hands of Rogue.
Again, vitality, the tension, we have to know they have to be sitting backstage so nervous. They need MDK to win this to force the tiebreaker. And for Rogue, a game that at so many points was in their hands, they've had 2 Barons this game, is now very quickly slipping away as MDK put the pressure on. 1, maybe 2 more fights. Comp incredibly strong, still has his cooldown, still has his tools, but MDK patience, only gonna go for the tier 2. They got what they came for.
30 seconds until Baron though. These are late resets for MDK, and you can see immediately Rogue moving into this top side. They want to try and get the vision down. If they catch Alvaro, he's setting up that vision, that could be crucial, but we get the replay here. Zoelys goes in. Where's your Kai'Sa? Where's the extra backup that Rogue needed? Especially if they just waited, because Myrwn wasn't in that fight. You just wait a couple more seconds and you can get into position to take the scrap, but instead, they give MDK that moment, that chance, and they happily take that play.
A little bit delayed start there, but Elyoya has to be feeling good, knowing what that pick means for the team. We missed the Baron setup now, but it looks like Rogue, we're not able to rush it. Now going against the Mountain Soul. Supa locked up for a moment, but he manages to make it out over the wall. Now it's Fresskowy who's in trouble, but the instant re-engage comes in from Alvaro, and it's Larssen who's in trouble. Larssen who has to run for his life. Elyoya on the backside. Gonna fish for the ult, gonna fish for the reset, but he's slowly getting taken down. Has to ult back out. Rogue retreating beautifully. Zoelys already down, but another one going to fall. Markoon taken out of the equation. It's MDK now with access to the Baron.
And this would be the first one for them this game. It has been hard fought to get to this position, but Mad Lions Koi taking the Baron may just give them that one chance they need to end this out.
An incredible turn, a back and forth game thus far, but finally, early game was good. Rogue brought it back, brought it into their control, got the Barons, got the fights, but in the clutch, MDK are still here. The Dragons they stacked early on, paying dividends, the Soul empowering them. As Supa pushes in on the top side. Already 1.6k on the Baron power play, looking to make it more. Rogue. Can they find the fight? They are running out of time to bring themselves back into this game.
Coordination hasn't been there for Rogue. And MDK rallying around Alvaro in these engages. Again and again, he has struck down Rogue when they think they can take the fight. And now, with the Baron creeps coming through, a reset will happen for MDK. But now the push to try and crack the base for MDK. Try and crack open that chance at playoffs.
Supa's ult about to come up. Flash not available. Comp still has his. Can't help in the fight to come. Fresskowy has the flash as well. Every single cooldown matters at this point in the game. Larssen's still wildly far ahead, but it doesn't really matter. There's nothing else for him to spend his money on. He's still an item lead over Fresskowy, but the execution in the fights we've seen, if Alvaro is the one to pull the trigger, if Alvaro is the one to engage, whoever goes first, generally the fight seems to favor them.
Wave's starting to get synced up now. You can see Renekton in that mid lane for Myrwn, slowly pushing that one in. Fresskowy's now joined the fray as well as he's just come back at a base, so trying to see if they can split Rogue thin across both mid and bottom side. Fresskowy has that ultimate as well to just keep Rogue off of towers if they can get the wave into position.
MDK have been here before though. They have to be clean in the finish. It was against KC that they threw it all away. A game that was won. This could have been their finish. This could have been no tiebreakers if they had found that win there. They could have been at 3 wins, but instead find themselves locked up. Supa needs to backstep. Rogue starting to poke. Myrwn now in trouble, but the tower already down. Supa unafraid with the Nautilus ult out of the equation. He knows he's untouchable.
Myrwn goes top. MDK just need to back away. Markoon and Finn are the only engaged tools, and Larssen's on the flank. Hook goes wide.
From Finn, the hook goes wide. Larssen on the side, wants to get something back. Finn demounted, they have to retreat now this next wave. MDK continue to push, they can set their sights. Top lane tower, top inhibitor. Finish it out clean.
There's no follow-up from Rogue, though. They're trying to throw everything in, but Larssen's not getting the damage down, Comp's not getting the damage down, and MDK in 4 versus 5 scenarios are getting to squirm their way out of it and get inhibitors.
Rogue need to find the angle. Because if they can't find it here, where's the hope going to be in the tiebreaker when they have to find it again, when they have to take down MDK and then take down Vitality as well? MDK on the cusp of victory, keeping their season alive, keeping Vitality's season alive as well. Rogue not out of it yet, but nothing has gone right in the last few minutes. Myrwn keeping the pressure on. Zoelys hits the hook, but only onto Alvaro. Elyoya following, Supa still untouched. Super's crashing on that tower. Hope starting to bloom for MDK. This is 1 of 3 that they will need. They're keeping forward. The pushback is there. Rogue falling to pieces in the final moments. MDK, do not hesitate to start the fight. The Nexus, all that matters. Finn tries to turn it around with the charge. Finn tries to get anything done, but Larssen doesn't have a whole hell of a lot of mana. Markoon already down. Everything crumbling for Rogue. MDK keep their dreams alive. They keep Vitality alive. They get the tiebreaker, and they will see Rogue one more time at the end of today. Triple for Elyoya to end. MDK stay standing.
MDK wiped the sweat off their brows at the end of that one. But the job has only just begun. 2 tiebreakers left to play. And you can see the faces on Rogue. They had so many opportunities in that game, but MDK refused to give up.
Definitely did. At LEC on X, player of the game, Elyoya, Fresskowy, Supa. It's not the only time you'll get a chance to vote for players in this game. All 10 players you'll see again after our 5th game. And this is where the tension really starts. Whatever this was, it is just the first step for MDK. They now have to keep themselves composed. They have to sit there backstage. They can't let their nerves get the better. They have to stay focused. They have to come back with an even better plan because they need to do it one more time, and then they need to beat Vitality. And if they can make all of that happen, they will be our 8th team in the LEC Summer Playoffs.
Easy. Real simple, you know? It's like...
It's anyone's game right now, based on what we've seen.
God only knows.
It's been messy, but again, all that matters is if you make it. Because none of these games have to mean anything to you as long as you get enough wins to make it into playoffs.
Yeah, you just need to get your foot in the door. And for MDK, they have managed to shove their foot into that door just as it's closing. I mean, great play from, honestly, like, the picks that they had in mid, finding those moments where Rogue had started to crumble, like, and Alvaro, those engages consistently on the Rell were huge for them.
Definitely were, right? And the few times he was caught out, we could see it turned against them. But enough from us. Let's hear from the victors themselves. Sjokz is standing by with Elyoya in the Marriott Bonvoy post-game check-in.
Thank you so much. Yes, I am. And the MDK fans right there have been very, very loud for what was an absolutely insane game. Elyoya, talk to me about your team and about how they, when everything was on the line, managed to get the engages, to get the team fights, even though the game did not always go in your favor.
Yeah, I think today, even though the game was not looking the best, we always maintained the calm, and that helped us win, even though it was not the best performance. It's still a good step in the right direction that we are able to maintain the calm even in a situation like this. So yeah, it's good.
I mean, as a captain, it doesn't have to always be perfect, right? You just need to get to win. But as you say, the work isn't done yet. You have now unlocked those possible 2 tiebreakers, the first one against Rogue. What is going to be the key to save summer here for MDK?
I think in a way, like, we have practiced everything that we needed already. Like, we just need to show how good we are because, honestly, we've been playing really poorly and it hasn't been to the expectations that we ourselves have, and even more coming from scrims. So I just trust in the work that we have done. I know we are much better than we have always showed, so we just need to show it to the world.
Okay, just need to show it, and they will be here to cheer for you. Thank you very much. Good luck on those tiebreakers. That will be at the end of the day. But after the break, we will have our match of the week between Fnatic and BDS.
Oh man, I feel like that was my best intro ever.
Yeah, not bad, hey, not bad. I can get Brian. You know it as well. I also know you can dance. You should join me next time. And yes, I feel like you've also deserved a bit of a break. You've earned it.
Thanks.
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
Good job.
Hey, thank you.
Red Bull gives you wings.